The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place. With my partner, Ian Parker, I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
UFC Fight Night hits Austin, Texas on Saturday with a lightweight main event between Beneil Dariush and Arman Tsarukyan. It is a very special fight week, fight night for us at ESPN. It is a Stuart Scott Fight Like Hell night. And again, it will be on ESPN and it will take place in Austin, Texas. As always, I am Brett Okamoto, joined by Ian Parker here to break down the card from a gambling perspective. We will go through this 6-fight main card, but before we do, Ian, as we always do, go ahead and talk us through how we did in the Brendan Allen, Paul Craig UFC Fight Night from the Apex.
Sure, we had a great fight night. In regards to the recap, over 1.5 Morales-Matthews, that cruised with ease. Jonathan Pierce, that one threw me off. He was beating Brito, asked Brito to do something, and Brito did. He choked him out, costing us to lose. Jose Johnson with the win, Aline Perez win. Trey Gooden, Brett, this one really, I'm salty about because we had the win. The referee made a bad call, ended up being a push instead of a plus 130 for us, and then we missed on Charles Johnson. So 3-2 the no contest. Still profitable on the best bets. However, that should have been a much better night. But on to Austin we go.
Yes, we do. And so it is a special start time for the Stuart Scott Fight Like Hell night. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. The main card starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Again, as I mentioned, 6-fight main card, headlined by Beneil Dariush taking on Arman Tsarukyan. Very, very important fight for both of these gentlemen who did make weight here in Austin, Texas. There is Arman Tsarukyan sporting the shades, looking very, very chiseled on the scale as we are used to seeing him. And then rocking the salt and pepper look, Beneil Dariush, coming off of that loss to Charles Oliveira, which interrupted an 8-fight win streak. Prior to that, Beneil Dariush was looking like a title contender. Instead, he loses to Charles Oliveira, which was interesting, Ian, because he went into that fight as a minus 145 favorite against Charles Oliveira. And now just one fight later, here he is, plus 245 against Arman Tsarukyan. Is that more of what the market is saying about Beneil Dariush and that maybe this is the start of a downslide, or are they just that high on Arman Tsarukyan?
I think they're that high on Arman Tsarukyan. Look, we've been saying this for a while, ever since the kid made his debut. He is a special fighter. We don't see too many holes in the game. He's a great grappler, good cardio, good striking. He is tough. He's got the age on his side. And then you look at Beneil Dariush. As much as we joke about the salt and pepper, he's been around for a while. He has fought all the top guys, and he finally had his chance to get there with the Charles Oliveira fight. That fight was supposed to be tailor-made for him to burst onto the scene, for the casual MMA fan to say, hey, now we know who this guy is, and he deserves a title shot. He was winning for a little bit, and then Charles Oliveira did what he does. He comes back and he wins, and Beneil Dariush now falls down. But he said, I'm here to fight. I am here. I am a fighter. I know what I need to do to get back, and if this is the guy they want me to fight, I'm going to do it. And Brett, this fight kind of gives me the vibes where he fought Mateusz Gamrot, where he was an underdog there. 5-round fight he was supposed to lose. And what did he do? He dominated. I think this line is way too wide. Arman Tsarukyan is coming off a win over Joaquim Silva, but that's not a top 5 fighter. Tsarukyan has not fought someone in the top 5 yet outside of Makhachev when he first came into the UFC, when Islam was not even top 5. So for me, this line is very wide. I think if Dariush should keep the fight on the feet, he does have the more powerful hands. We've seen Tsarukyan get rocked. He got rocked by Silva in his last fight. So I'm going to go a little bit different here. I'm going over 3.5 rounds. I think Dariush is going to come into this very motivated, very prepared. I think this is going to be very similar to the Gamrot fight if it goes his way. If not, I could see Tsarukyan really laying into the wrestling, clinching against the cage, holding him there for a long period of time. Let's go over 3.5, and only at minus 135. I really like this play.
Okay, so the pick is the over 3.5, and I agree with you on the side. If you're going to bet this fight, I think you got to take Dariush, unless you just think Dariush is done for some reason. If you just think that maybe he lost all that momentum and he lost to Charles Oliveira, and that's going to be the start of a skid. I have heard that commentary out there a little bit, that maybe that is a speculation on Dariush, but I love the fact that you brought up the Gamrot fight, because we got to learn something there. I mean, this guy was a plus 210 underdog against Gamrot. Now he's plus 245. It doesn't make sense to. It feels like we learned nothing there from Dariush's win over Gamrot. Let's go to the co-main event that did change a little bit. It was supposed to be Bobby Green taking on Dan Hooker. Instead, it is Jalen Turner, but Jalen Turner installed as a minus 200 favorite despite the short notice. Who do you like here?
Oh, man, this fight, you know what? Jalen Turner's another guy that you look at him and you say, well, number one, how does he make weight, which clearly is very tough for him? And how do you beat a guy at this size? But we've seen it happen. Gamrot beat him. He just lost to Dan Hooker. And it seems like all the momentum is in favor of Bobby Green. And during the week, you know, Jalen Turner, and we've met him before, he's a nice guy. He's a very laid-back dude. But that press conference did not give me a whole lot of confidence. It didn't seem like he wanted to fight. He's claiming he's being forced. And Brett, I'm sure you saw the weigh-in. He looked like a walking skeleton. He drains himself to get to this weight. And Bobby Green, this is the type of matchup where if he could keep it on the feet, rounds 2 and 3 can absolutely be Bobby Green's fight. Turner will have the reach. He will have the better striking. I'm going to go out on the limb and say he's got the power there. But Green is very durable. I'm not going to say the smartest fighter as he kind of goes out there and wings it, but we know that he is capable of being very well-rounded. He can wrestle. He can defend takedowns. I don't like the way Turner looks here. He looks weak. This is not the first time we've seen him in this condition. It's not one of those situations where a guy is a master at cutting this much weight and he's kind of faking the way he looks. You see him floating like a skeleton. He looks drained. That's because he is. We saw it happen in the Hooker fight. He faded in rounds 2 and 3. I think Bobby Green could probably pull this off. I like over 1.5 rounds as our official bet.
Okay, the official bet is over 1.5, but you do have a long shot prop here for the co-main. Why don't you give that to us as well?
I couldn't pass up on this number at plus 900. You're going to tell me I can get Bobby Green to win this by TKO or KO in rounds 2 or 3 on the ESPN bet app. Of course, I'm going to roll the dice there. To me, this looks like a Bobby Green tailor-made. If it was 5 rounds, easy pick right there. If Turner doesn't get the knockout in round 1, he's going to fade in round 2. I see Bobby Green doing this in 3 at plus 900. Let's go.
Yep, so there's your long shot prop of the night. And if you're going to take Bobby Green, you might want to take him now, because I feel like after watching that video, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people out there liking Bobby Green and kind of fading Jalen Turner just based on how he looked at the weigh-in. Speaking of the weigh-in, there's Deiveson Figueiredo. He is moving up in weight. Really, really interesting fight that is not the main event or the co-main event, but it could be. Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Rob Font. Font is a minus 130 favorite here. Who do you like?
Look, it's good to see Figueiredo healthy, making weight with no problem, but give me Rob Font here. Into stand-up, I do think Figgy's power is going to carry, but Font, I think, is the better striker, keeps it on the feet. I think his cardio and his pace will be better. I'm going at these odds, especially when Figgy's never fought in this weight yet.
Okay, from there we move to the welterweight division. It is Sean Brady and Kelvin Gastelum making his return to 170 pounds. He did make weight on the scale. Who do you like here?
Look, Gastelum made weight. People think he looks good. I don't think he looks that great right there. I think it still takes a lot for him. I think this fight's going the distance. I'll pay a little bit more to go over 2.5, but I would also lean Sean Brady. I think he has the edge in the grappling here.
Okay, and from there we go to Clay Guida, who has made us some money on a big long shot prop bet for you in the past, taking on Joaquin Silva. Silva minus 320 here. So Clay, another big time underdog. Who do we like?
This is such a strange matchup. I never saw it happening, and I think Silva's getting this name because of his performance against Tsarukyan. If Guida could stay away from the power and turn this into a wrestling match, I could see him getting the upset, but I'm going to play it a little bit safer. I'm going a little chalky here. Let's go over 1.5 rounds. Silva's knockouts, when he's done it, have come in rounds 2 or 3. I think Guida can survive till then.
All right, so they're over 1.5 on that fight. Let's move to Puna Soriano taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. You like the over 1.5 again here, Ian?
I do, and the reason for that is both guys, when they have been finished in the past, outside of the last fight for Stoltzfus, it's been in rounds 2 or 3, and I think this fight is tailor-made for Puna Soriano's style, for the way he's able to use his striking. I think he gets it done in late round 2, early round 3. Let's go over 1.5.
All right, so a little bit of a theme there on the main card. We're taking a lot of overs. Ian's expecting to see the action go into the 2nd and 3rd, 4th rounds in the main event. So a little bit of a theme there. We'll see if it plays out. Let's move to the prelims. Ian, as always, you can take it away. Run us through your prelim picks for this UFC Fight Night here in Austin.
Thank you, Brett. Miesha Tate at plus 120 against Julia Avila. I don't understand these odds. Avila has not fought in 2 years. She was losing to Stoliarenko until she was able to catch the submission into round 3. Miesha Tate, if she could wrestle, she wins at plus odds. I'm taking her there. Zachary Reese, look, this guy's a knockout artist. At minus 235, it's a little pricey, but as my prop of the night, give me Reese by KO, TKO, or even DQ at plus 165. We've seen Cody Brundage. He gets tagged a lot. He drops if he can't wrestle. I think this is Reese's coming out party and gets the win in dramatic fashion. Moving on to the next fight, Jakar Close, Joe Selecki. Very fun matchup here, but if Selecki can't wrestle Close, he's going to get pieced on the feet. I like Jakar Close here. Very underrated wrestling, has fought some of the best guys. He fought Dariush, who's maining this card. Give me Close here. Adolfo Bellato over Pateria. Listen, that number is very high. He's going to win this one by knockout. Go there. Wellington Turman versus Jared Gooden. I cannot take Turman in any fight in the UFC at that number. I'm going to roll the dice here. I think Gooden is good enough to keep the fight on the feet, the power, the striking, keep himself off his back. He can pull off the upset. And last but not least, I'm going another dog here. Give me Veronica Hardy over Jamie Lynn North. Hardy showed in that last fight as a huge 4-1 underdog. She's gotten better. She's well-rounded. Her cardio's there. Her husband, Dan Hardy, one of the smartest IQ MMA minds in the business, will be there. I'm going with underdog there in Veronica Hardy.
All right, so hard sell for the underdog on the curtain here at UFC Fight Night. How about Parker's parlay for this Saturday? What do you got?
Let's go. Well, originally I had Costa against Garcia. Unfortunately, that fight canceled. So I'm going to slide in Puna Soriano here. I think he gets it done. Let's add Zachary Reese. Let's add Bellato here. 3 big favorites, but we're going to get plus 132 odds here. Don't need to go method of victory. Let's get it done and start the streak.
All right, those odds presented, as you mentioned, by ESPN Bet. And from the parlay, we go on to the best bets for this weekend.
Brett, I got a nice little mixture of underdog favorites and overs here. Start with the main event. I'm going over 3.5 rounds. As I mentioned earlier in the show, this is giving me that Dariush versus Gamrot vibes. A lot of wrestling, defending with the better striking here. I do think Tsarukyan is the real deal, but this is a step up of competition here. I think the odds makers are valuing Dariush's loss to Oliveira way too much. Give me Turner Green over 1.5 rounds. As drained as Turner is, Bobby's not an early finisher. If he does it, it'll be at the end of round 2, early round 3. I'm going Rob Font over Figueiredo. Figgy's one of the best to do it at flyweight, but this is a different weight class. I understand he looks healthy here. Font's one of the best in that division. On the feet, give me Font. Brady Gaslam over 2.5 rounds. I'm taking Miesha Tate at plus 120. I think the odds are incorrect there. I think she should be the favorite. Avila has not fought in 2 years and has not fought anyone close to what Tate has. So we're going to go with the underdog. And last but not least, give me Jakar Close to shut down the grappling of Joe Selecki and win this fight at minus 130.
All right, so we got 6 best bets on the board. We got the parlay. Now, how about the last order of business? It is the long shot parlay. Mr. Parker, where are we going?
With this long shot parlay this year, I haven't hit one clean yet, but we've gotten to the last leg a few times. So if you've watched the show, Brett and I have mentioned many times, hedge it. You will profit either way. But here, I see 4 live dogs, so let's put them all together. Give me Bobby Green, Miesha Tate, Jared Gooden, and Veronica Hardy, and you're getting a very fun number. 4 dogs. Let's cash it. Let's get happy on this one.
That is a very fun number there at ESPN Bet. That is it for the show. And again, it is Stuart Scott Fight Like Hell Night, and a darn good card that the UFC put together for this special night at ESPN. I mean, I'm looking at this Davison Figueiredo Rob Font fight. That could literally be a main event in my mind. So the fact that we're getting it as a 3rd fight on the main card, pretty good here from Austin, Texas. Thanks so much for watching UFC Best Bets for Ian Parker and myself, Brett Okamoto. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and hopefully we'll put a little cash in those wallets. Goodbye.
I'm still here, I'm fighting, I'm not losing. But I gotta amend that. When you die, that does not mean that you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live.